Hey guys, welcome into the Puppy Reborn channel. Today I want to talk about Gobs and Gods. If you guys haven't seen any of the footage on this game, I do have one video of just me blindly going in and just playing. And now that I've gotten a few hours under my belt and just kind of seen some of the mechanics, I'm more of one of those people that likes to dive in and really dissect what it is that I'm playing. And so that's what I've done in this, and I feel as if I can confidently say this is the closest to Battle Brothers that I've seen. And I've played plenty of War Tales. I'm probably at 400 hours in War Tales, and I've also played a lot of other games that are very similar to it. And this definitely is the closest. Now, the things that you need to know about going into it, I want to discuss today, and hopefully this video will give you some more perspective on what is kind of being accomplished here, honestly. So yeah. So without further ado, guys, if you want to learn more about Gobs and Gods, this is the video for you. So what I'd like to do in this video is I'd like to show you the comparison of Battle Brothers and what has been taken from that into this game. As well, I want to talk about what I think that what this potential has, and then finally my final thoughts and what I believe this game's going to need in order to get to the elevated status that I think it might deserve. So with that, let's kind of talk about what similarities come with Battle Brothers in this. For starters, we can look at the map and draw instant comparisons. For instance, I have the map paused right now and I can look around and see the forest and so on. Of course, there's life, like the crow flying around right now. But if I was to unpause and walk through the forest, eventually I could come across what looks like an enemy or a possible just a neutral opponent that is walking through the trees. Okay, so you do have that same aspect, right? You have that look, the trees, and from both sides they look very similar. So we have a quest right here, and we have like there it shows, not only does it tell us where the quest is, but we can see where they came from. And sometimes I feel like these will lead to certain areas, so you can always follow where they're coming from. It's kind of like Battle Brothers. If you know that there's roaming units, there's probably a site that you can visit nearby. So kind of keep that in mind. It does the same thing. Again, the same look as Battle Brothers. But one of the cool things, however, is that if you click on any of these units on the side and you hover over, they will give you input on what they think about whatever it is that you're hovering over. I can do it with these guys. I think it's because they're within range, but they have input on every little. Even if I hover over this sawmill, it tells us, the sawmill who's there. So just again, really, it's engaging. It's really nice. The quality of life aspect of it comes from the map. So if I press M, I can see this overarching map. And in the map, we have these different locations. Now, the cool thing about this, in difference to Battle Brothers, you have a cartographer that can make you a little bit of money when you find something. It stays on the map. This, you end up seeing with the different areas as well as whether you've been there or not. For instance, the blue stone pillar, for instance, it says you've never been there. Whereas if I go right next to it, the red tower of red flies, it says I visited one day ago. Now, the cool thing about the dungeons is that there are different layers to the dungeon. This here is the dungeon. Now, I've already been here. I killed the guards. If I was to go inside here, of course, it says that we can't see the whole area, so it assumes that we are in we're in a fight. Now, speaking of this dungeon, and before we get into that, let's talk about tiles here. And you can see the arrow indicating, hey, this guy is going to move on to that spot, right? Now, if I wanted to see how much it would cost to move to that tile, I would just click on it. It says three time units. Now, at the bottom of the screen, if you look at the prompt, it shows 3 time units, or it's going to say time units and how many that unit has. Okay, so 9. So technically, I can move 3 tiles. Now, there isn't a jump up on, obviously when you go up a terrain in Battle Brothers, you lose more fatigue, whereas this, we don't lose more time units, so it doesn't factor that in the same way Battle Brothers does. However, the tiling is the same. The turn-based portion of it is the same, and there are some There are some quality of life things like the UI just showing how many points you have per unit. You can see it by the little diamonds underneath your character. So you do have that. Now, this dungeon I have already completed, fought, and been done with, okay? So I could move my units one at a time all the way through here, but for the sake of quality of life, because all the units are dead, what we can do up the top right, we can switch to real time. Now, in real time, we can just walk to the stairs. Now, in Battle Brothers, when you go and take on an area, that is it. Whatever's in that area is all that you face. In this, there's a little bit of a more forgiving portion of it because of the levels. So this tower has 3 levels. So if I go to explore the next level, you'll see now it goes, oh, we're in a new battle. Now, the level below this, you probably noticed there was a chest. Now, in the chest, you have loot. So as you go higher, the more loot, the better loot is going to be acquired. But in the same breath, you are going to face stronger opponents. And I did end up noticing that as I was going through multiple towers and stuff. So that's one of the really cool things about these towers in particular, which are different from Battle Brothers. And I almost wonder if it is a more quality of life aspect of it. So what I have to talk about next is the units. And specifically because they are close to what Battle Brothers is, but at the same time, they're their own thing. It's hard to believe that I'm even going to say this, but there's more feeling that goes behind these units than in Battle Brothers. Now that is a tough one, right? And I get it. I get it. It's tough to hear that. If you're a hardcore Battle Brothers fan, I totally get it. The thing is, these characters have voice lines, and I want to encourage the developers to keep developing on this thing. This is a very, very important piece to your game, is the fact that they have voice lines that are unique to the goblins themselves. I'm telling you right now, this goblin right here, Gabiri the Spearman, this female goblin constantly is like yelling crap on the battlefield about, oh, it's my turn next, I want to go next, come on now, you know. And she's very aggressive in her pursuit, and her personality fits who she is. And I don't know if they tied the voices to the personalities or what. Just please, guys, if you're gonna continue this, if you really want this game to shine, my suggestion is to continue the voice lines, continue to mesh them, maybe even like for Greedy have a male and a female voice, and like that could be applied to the character, or multiple, I don't know. But they did such a great job of this. It makes me like, I know when I hear a voice which goblin is talking trash or wants to fight or is scared or is happy or whatever the case is. You'll find that with these guys. It's so stinking amazing. So what makes these guys different from Battle Brothers, right? Well, first off, you notice them more. And I wish that Battle Brothers would make voice lines that were more distinct to the character themselves, like a bunch of different things. And I understand why not, because the storyline really puts in perspective the type of character that you have in Battle Brothers. But this one, you're building something. You're building a relationship with them. It's hard to explain, honestly. So with Gabiri, she's one of the things here, she's pessimistic. Okay, so you do have these traits, like she's greedy and pessimistic. So you do have the traits, or some sort of trait that follows the same way Battle Brothers does, the characteristics, right? It seems as if the goblins always have bad traits, though, unless they're boring. I think that's where you get away from all them traits. I seen one goblin that had a boring trait, and nothing came of it. Like, they didn't. It even stated they're too boring to have a bad trait, which I think is really funny. But anyways, pessimistic, greedy, and some of these things really do make a difference. For instance, so Gabiri will refuse to let go of her belongings unless you offer high value items. So for the longest time, I'm trying to do one of these things where I'm trying to switch out like a shirt or something along those lines, and she's like, no, I won't do it. Don't touch my bone spear. So like, she's like, no, I don't want that. She's giving you feedback because it fits her personality. And I'm telling you, between her talking crap or getting excited or getting like, I don't want to do this, on the battlefield, when you're actually interacting with the items themselves, it's adding more. I know I'm going down a rabbit hole with this, but it is very, very true. So again, characteristics, the personality, it's all there. Very, very positive piece of this. The next thing here is you do have your traits. Now you notice that Battle Brothers did the same type of thing. The difference is you're getting rid of initiative. You're trading out, so you're putting some of these things together instead of having more traits. All these traits have an intertwining. Okay, so a range score, a melee score, a melee defense score. So if I go to perception, range score, melee defense, and willpower, whereas strength is melee score and max encumbrance. I hope that's a better way. And then your health, max encumbrance. So like all the traits kind of have some sort of linkage to each other. And then finally the magic value. There are some magic units in the game. I found one more recently. In fact, I'll show you the in-town stuff in just a second to also show you how closely that is with Battle Brothers. All these traits, of course, affect their bottom line. So like defensively, you can see this unit has a melee defense value of 24. So you can see there's a lot of things working together to create these things, and I'm assuming that 24 would act against the percentage when you go to attack somebody. So there is a percentage per attack, yada yada, right? There's an encumbrance. There's a lot of similar things. Again, very, very similar. You can look at like the bone spear, for instance, 7 unit times. So if you only have 9 units, you can take a step and then attack, or you can just make a simple attack and you can do a secondary action that's smaller. So very similar. I won't waste a lot of time on that. The clothes, everything, jack of all trades. This person adds to a skill, one of the skills that you can add coming against or across. So if I go to the skills, this is one of the more interesting things here. You can see that this goblin has the spear skill. Go figure, it's spearman, right? And I gave her the critical strike effect here. Now, again, you're getting bonuses for having these specific traits for the goblins. And you're going to notice that there is, like, for instance, axe, apprentice. So what this is saying, essentially for all these different traits, you can go to different towns, you can meet people who have a particular skill in that, and you can give them a certain type of currency and mix match of items to allow them to teach your whole band of goblins how to do this thing. Now, this works no matter if goblins die or not. Once you unlock it, it stays. So whenever somebody uses the axe and they have the trait for the axe, they get the enabling, for instance here, apprentice, it says enabling using axe special attack. So you get some special ability with the axe that you're using. So just keep that in mind if you are playing this. Once you get the trait, sure, that's great, but you need to upgrade that trait through searching across the land. The reason why this is a very good thing, I think, is because it forces you to move to certain locations, points of interest, and you're going to find with quest, there's a lot of point of interest. I could see how things get a little overwhelming at times if you're newer to this. Battle Brothers it can be an overwhelming game too, but this is like you get a quest every town you go to. There's quests that almost feel not forced upon you, but they're always like pushing at you to do them. And then you can get lost in the weeds. I ended up going to a few towns and seeing these quests, but I guess the part of it that's similar to Battle Brothers is because you could do the same thing if you're new to Battle Brothers. You could go to a town, pick a bunch of quests, go to another town, and be like, oh crap, well, take that back. No, take that back. I'm sorry. You can't actually do that in Battle Brothers because if you have one quest, it eliminates other quests. You have to finish that quest or cancel it. So, yeah, I guess there is that. This you can have multiple quests. So that's if you can understand why that's a pain in the butt. So, yeah, if you're asking me, well, what are all these things? Like, what do you get for unlocking these? I don't know because I haven't gone through all of these. Obviously, this is the one that I unlocked. So, but again, if you're focusing your band of goblins around a certain type, as they level up, I gave them other traits, some that they already came with, and so on. Next thing I want to go over with all this, we went over all the traits. The level ups are interesting as well. So when you level up, you either get to pick a trait or you get to choose 2 freebies, which come from the stats that are the highest, I believe. So for instance, if Gabiri, the thug, ended up leveling up, he would get a free X amount of stats for strength, a free X amount of stats for agility, or a free X amount of stats for endurance. However, if you pay a fee, if you pay some certain fee of items and so on, you can get special upgrades for your unit, which is actually pretty cool. I might make well, I might do something on that. I need to get a level up for you guys to see that in more detail. Okay, yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, yeah, we didn't go over the star portion of this. The stars go towards a boost to your level ups in those categories. So keep that in mind. That's, again, very similar to Battle Brothers. If you've seen that before, for instance, here are 2 stars. I don't know if it goes up to 3 stars. I haven't seen it yet. But 2 stars is, yeah, you're going to get a lot of endurance on a level up. Next is the Spirit Realm, which is the same thing as the Retinue in Battle Brothers. The difference is you're building a city in a mythical realm compared to just having a group of people. So here I am. I click in the right-hand corner of the screen. You're gonna see 2.4K. That is the essence that I have gathered, the God points or whatever you want to call it. Now you get God points from completing dungeons, from completing any kind of XP quest thing, blah blah blah. Anything you do, you get these points. However, most of your points comes from goblins dying. So when one of your goblins dies, don't fret, because there are a bonus to your retinue when they die. You end up taking their soul, and it goes into this. It goes towards their kingdom. Okay, the kingdom in the ground, or wherever you want to call it. So what I can do right now, and I didn't end up upgrading for this reason, I ended up creating this little city down here into the earth, and I can upgrade it by paying 1,800 essence, which will allow me as a perk to hire up to 6 goblins. So while you can't necessarily pick certain retinue members, you have the retinue in terms of your buildings and so on. Yeah, so there's some other things, not exploration, fame, training, assault, defender, channeling, and logistics. Now, all these things you have to find on the map. You have to find these things through cities, through quests, through whatever. Okay, I found this through one of the first quests that you end up doing. I won't tell you what happens, but it's how you get to this point. The next thing here at the very top, you're going to see Nerdy God Shrine. That all is dictated. That the only reason why it says that is because I've chose nerdy things. Okay, so keep that in mind. The last thing up on the top left-hand corner before we go to the next screens and talk about other things is the teeth. Teeth are pretty much your crowns in this game. It is your currency. I find that it's not as brutal as Battle Brothers. It's not. Let me go back. It is just simply not as brutal as Battle Brothers. Well, and I'm playing, just so you guys know too, I'm playing on the hardest difficulty. So we'll kind of go with that. You may be wondering, how does food work as well as healing, right? So that's a really big thing with Battle Brothers. When you're walking, you're consuming food throughout by the end of the day, and you are also healing throughout the day. And if you rest in a camp, you stop for a second and let time go by, of course you'll heal up. Now in War Tales, however, it's a different process, right? You heal by camping. You can take potions, whatever, but most of it is healing at a camp, and paying your wages and feeding all at once and so on. This is a bit of both, honestly. They did a good job of this. When you're walking across the land, you get a slow progression of health, but you are hungry, right? So at the end of the day, you don't automatically just feed everybody. You have to stop, you camp, and you heal. You'll end up you'll be able to heal a lot faster than you would just walking around, and you can of course feed all your goblins. So it is a mix of both. Now the indication for it is down at the bottom of the screen. You see this little gut. If I let it go, You're going to see it's going to be blinking here. That's an indication, hey, your goblins need to eat. So what happens here is I don't have anything in my stocks right now. I don't have any meat. So they are starving right now, unfortunate for them. But yeah, I'd need 8 portions of meat to fulfill, their hunger, as well as we would take that time to rest as you would in War Tales. It ends up advancing time. So that is how that works. It's a mixture of both. I think it's a really nice quality of life. Now, if I come into this village, it's a very small village. This is one of the first ones you'll go to. I just want to show you what's going on. When you come here, you can talk to whoever's running the place. They usually will have a conversation with you about whatever. You can ask them about quests that are going on and any input they have on it. You can ask them, of course, the news in the area. The same thing you would do at the tavern for Battle Brothers. Do you want to fight? You can put in the you can fight them, right? You also can buy, sell, all that stuff is there. One of the things I like about it, though, let's go to the buy and sell. At the very top of the screen, you can go instantly to one of the categories within the village. So in Battle Brothers, you click on the individual buildings. This one is all at the top. There will be buildings. I'll show you in a second. Here and there on the land. But you can click on, but for the quickness of it, you can actually go to each one at the top of the screen. Now, this is we talked about the Axe Apprentice and what's going on there with your skills. I got the Axe Apprentice unlocked because of this guy right here, and I paid him whatever price it was. Now, the cool thing about it is he says, hey, if you want to learn Axe or Expert Axe, ask for this guy at this village, and you just click on his name and you can see exactly where it's at. It tells you information about the large city that's there. It's populated by orcs, so there's a lot of so we're goblins. This guy's an orc, clearly. Guckberg. So yeah, he's a specialist, so we can upgrade all that. But that's part of the quality of life that this game has, because the Battle Brothers, you have to just look around for that town or whatever it is that it's telling you to go to. So, of course, there'll be like the little coins spinning in circles, but generally, if you're looking for a specific town, a lot of times you're like, oh, I think it's in this direction or of some sort. Like, let's say you have to attack dire wolves out in the prairie or whatever, like Deadly Prairie. I'm just making that up, obviously, but in Battle Brothers, you have to try to figure out where the heck that land is. This will actually tell you, hey, this is where it's at. This is where your quest is at. So, next thing would be the buying and selling. Buying and selling is very similar to Battle Brothers. I still think it's not as punishing, and as you can see, this is a bone great axe. You can buy it for 80 teeth, whereas you can sell it here for 15 teeth, and that's a big jump. That's a big jump. Very similar to Battle Brothers. Other games, they'll cut it in half or cut it down to a third. Yeah, so it's pretty tried and true to Battle Brothers to some extent, and when you buy things, not terrible pricing. Honestly, I thought the prices would be a little higher than this. I could sell a bunch of stuff and get this iron axe, which is a really nice weapon compared to some of these other ones. Just to give you an idea, this is 7 to 19 slash, where the armor damage and the armor penetration is the same. However, here we have the lower portion of it, which is 4 to 12. So let's elevate the idea of a town. This is a bigger town, and the thing that you need to understand is the quality of life first, and all the upgraded things that you can do. I'll explain that in a second. But in the middle of the screen, you're going to see that there is a new task, and sometimes there's new quests. Again, just make sure that you're picking a few quests at a time. Don't get overbearing about it. If you do too many quests, you're going to have stuff all over the place. Maybe that's a good thing in this game, but if you have a Battle Brothers brain, you know that one quest at a time is not bad. Having a few quests isn't bad, but doing too many, it can stretch you thin. So keep that in mind. Now, the quality of life of this game, right? So in Battle Brothers, you would click on each one of these buildings to look at their wares and buy and sell, so on. However, centralizing it is really nice. We talked about it in the smaller town. The difference here is that you can see both of the buildings right off the bat. The next thing I want to show you guys is the apprentice stuff. Now we talked about it, the axe master or the axe apprentice that was that we ended up doing. This is going to show you a little different side of it. What you need this crystal. You also need 500 teeth. You need what looks like tanning like a cloak of some sort or fur, and then you need 400 teeth to get that unlocked. And it actually tells you now what will happen here. So, for instance, potions here. Remembers the effects. Already tried potions. So, if I don't know if you can create potions from scratch, that's pretty sick if you can. But that will be something that you can remember. And then, of course, strongly increased critical probability when backstabbing position. So there you go. That's what you're getting for it. That's really cool. Food and drinks. This guy here, you can pay a certain amount, and you'll order food and stuff. So let's do that with our guys. They should be good now. They were belly aching earlier. And oh, we got a new item, a kitten eye. So that's pretty cool. You can order a drink which restores your essence. So, and like I talked about with War Tales, when you sleep, you get your inspiration, I believe, or something along those lines. But enough inspiration allows you to do special movements, special things. All your goblins have special abilities that need a little bit of essence. So that is how you would do it, unless you do a full rest. Of course, we just allowed them to eat, and that's enough to keep them going at least. But just keep that in mind. Oops, let's go back here. Goodbye. Now, the next thing that I think is really cool, we're going to get to the recruiting next, but I got to go over this weapon sharpening. These guys have a sharpening tool. What it does is it upgrades your weapons. To me, this is just cool. This is just fun. If I was to throw the great axe in here, I get one free upgrade. This upgrade would go from 11 to 25 slash to 12 to 27 slash. However, if you look at that little star or the little asterisk down there, it says increases damage by 10%. So everything gets going to have its own little thing that's going to happen here. Increases damage. Again, increases damage here. I just think that that's cool. It's a really neat feature. If you really like a weapon or something that someone's using, don't touch my bone spear. You won't even let me upgrade it. But funny enough, these are just little cool things that you can do. Now let's look at the recruiting. Now this is pretty basic recruiting. If we went to a bigger city, you could see the difference there. You can see the cost here is it's very cheap. So like a goblin beggar, nothing special, but you do have their abilities do vary. Shoe chew. This guy's a shoe chewer, and he's a midget. Oh man. Oh man. Okay, Goblet, the beggar can't seem to break a habit of chewing on her own shoes. Sometimes she even swallows them whole. And then she's a midget. Okay, again, really funny, but cheaper units. Really cool units. This is a cheesemonger. So this person here actually has a cheese shield, which is pretty cool, pretty funny. But yeah, I don't know, guys. Like I said, there's a lot of cool things. Here's a tanner. So I'm sure that the tanner has a special ability. If you want to see their special abilities, guys, also any type of unit, they have. If you hover over the type, like a beggar itself, once per day, this gob can escape death and receive bonus hit. To hit when it's your sole follower. You see what I'm saying? Like everybody has their special thing. The miner. It increases damage to armor when using club or hammer. Boom. Again, it's very BattleBrothers-esque. Okay. But yeah, you would just pay whatever the teeth cost is. Now they're part of your party. You can take their equipment off. You can sell it. You can buy it. Whatever. Get them. You can see their skills to start. What they specialize in at the very bottom there. Before I get into my final thoughts, just one more thing I want to show you guys, and that is the spell book. Okay, so the bottom right hand corner is the spell book. You're going to notice all these different types of moons, and last night's moon, for instance, was the full moon. Okay, now tonight's moon is going to be the mystical moon. And why do we know that? Because it's free. Now, every night you get to do a spell. and that spell is dictated based on the type of moon. So let's say tonight I didn't want to use the free, which is kind of silly, but for what it's worth, if I didn't want to use the mystical moon, I could use the moody moon. Okay. Now, if I ended up using one of the spells under moody moon, I would have to give up 3 candlesticks. Okay. I don't have to do that tonight if I wanted to do the permanent perception. To give you an idea of the type of spells, this one here I ended up uncovering from going through a dungeon, and it says increases the Gob's perception by 1. This increase is permanent. A Gob may only be targeted once per spell level. So, really cool. An added feature to give you more flavor, to give your goblins a little more of a bonus, and so on. Something that Battle Brothers doesn't have. All right, guys, I'm going to give you my final thoughts on this one. And I'm going to be completely honest, straight to the point, go off on my own little tangent, and then you guys can make your own decision for yourself. I have played many hours of Battle Brothers, and I've played a few hours of this. So my experience in this has been undoubtedly awesome, and I'm not, there's the reason I'm obviously doing this video. I don't do videos like this very often, but I 100% endorse it. I think it's an incredible game. I have nothing to gain from this game. The developers gave me the game. Don't get me wrong, it's cool. But I'm happy to even do a giveaway to people who want to give it a chance, because I think that this is truly a really good game. It's a really good experience. It's very nostalgic to the Battle Brothers game. If you ever saw the original, it's kind of interesting. If you've ever seen the original, the art style for Battle Brothers before it even became what it was, you'll know that they started out looking like this. Okay, maybe not exactly like this, but their art style was not refined yet. And it's really cool because part of me sees the same thing in this. I'm not saying that they ever need to change it, but what I am saying is if the support became high enough, they could keep evolving this game. And I think that you will be pleasantly surprised to play this. The whole reason that I have the screen up that I have right now is because this character made me recognize the old feeling that I had when I first played Battle Brothers. There wasn't many tutorials. I played Battle Brothers when it first came out. I was one of the original people to play the game when it first came out. Okay, and I remember the feeling I had about certain characters, and I'm like, I fell in love because of that. I didn't have to be good at the game. I didn't have to know all the mechanics. I wanted to because I cared about what it was that I was doing. This character made it come alive to me. And I feel like it could do the same for other people. And I hope that the things that have been talked about will be taken serious towards the devs. But also, I hope that it's encouraging to you guys to give it a shot. The game is cheap. It's not an expensive game. And there's not, like, again, there's not many games I'll endorse like this. Not that what I'm saying matters in the grand scheme. In the grand scheme of things, I'm a smaller YouTube channel, but I firmly stand by this one. I will make more content on it. I'll be here in the community. I'm gonna be a part of this one. I'm not saying that I'll maybe be as active, but I will say I'm going to keep a close eye on it. The best case scenario for this game is that the Battle Brothers community goes hand in hand with it, accepts it fully, and gives it a shot. All you need to do is give it a shot. That's it. If you're a fan of Battle Brothers, just give it a shot. There's probably a lot of balancing that needs to be done yet. I haven't gotten that far into it to say, but I know it can get there. I truly believe it can get there, and I think with the community's help, Alex and his brother can do great things here. So, with that being said, guys, if there's something I missed, I will add in another video. Maybe I'll do an update to see how things are going. Hopefully the devs will work with me on this one too. I would love to be a bigger piece of it, of course, but if you guys have any questions about the game or whatever the case is, please let me know in the comment section below. Let the devs know in the comment section below what you think about what you've seen or what you played. And if you'd like to join the Discord or if you'd like to see more on the game, all that stuff is in the description section below. So yeah, we'll go with that. Thanks for coming out to the channel, guys, and I will hopefully see you in the next video.